Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Love and Action Deconstruction Junction. Deconstruction Junction is a place where we lift our ideas about what's happening in the mainstream conversation and offer our lenses on what's hopeful. Is there a bright, joyous, and secure future for the world that we live in? Are we encouraged, equipped, and empowered enough to live in our truth? Are we bold enough in our dreams and connecting with our dreams and the dreams of our family and friends? Is there enough? Tara says there's only abundance, but who is Tara for those of you listening over on the YouTube and the podcast? Who is a Tara? What is a Tara? Dear Goddess Tara, Lord of all creation.
Tara means earth or hill. The way that my name is spelled is a hill in Ireland, a holy hill. Holy hill, imagine that, it's a holy hill. Praise the Lord. The hill of Tara, it's called Tara. Oh, I thought that was the baby. There's like someone cutting something down. I was like, what the heck? That's a weird sound from the bedroom.
It's not the baby cutting something down, is it?
Mm-mm. No. Anyway, y'all, I am Tara Priolo. I'm your resident Black, biracial, multi-passionate musician. I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. I'm still feeling like I want to break free of that intro, but I haven't worked on it yet. So here we are. Did you introduce yourself? No. Okay. You're doing it afterwards. We're here today with a spicy set of things for you. It's going to be a little spicy this week. So just, go grab your hot sauce and your popcorn and get settled. But if you are a person that has an open throat chakra on this Throat Chakra Thursday, and you would like to mayhaps come on live with us and have a conversation about what you're deconstructing or decolonizing, or just talking about in your communities or need help with, or you want to share your own story on a separate section of this podcast or this platform, the Love and Action platform, you are most welcome to apply to do that. And you can go to lovedandlovable.bio.link, 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 and we will put your name right there in the bottom where it says your name here. And who are you, Dr. Flo, as he finishes sharing this out and I go to my sharing?
I'm Dr. Flo, not telling you what I heard, but what I know. What I know is that you're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable, and you're always going to be loved and lovable for the rest of your life. And how you feel today and relate to your loved and lovable nature is going to determine it's going to determine the next few seconds, the next few minutes, the next few months, the next few years. It's all going to come from out of that inner picture that you have in your heart. What I do professionally is coach and mentor bold dreamers and organizations to amplify their message in the world. And that looks like peer support groups and creative services, spiritual services, and marketing and business development. So if you're out there and you need some help amplifying your storytelling and coming alive as you build your community, and as you wake people up in the world in your own special way, let me know on the Dr. Flo hotline, 404-585-1278, 404-585-1278. Deconstruction Junction is a program out of Love and Action Network that's part of a larger publication program that's been going for 102 weeks strong. Of course, co-led by one of our chief architects here in the network, Tara Priolo Studio, and a guy behind the scenes who's about to start up his anime, Poppy Water 33, the leader of the House of Mommy Water, the most liberated house in Love and Action Network.
And fashion. I'm of course up. Y'all probably saw my face go. because I usually go live on my YouTube. We're live on my personal Facebook today. So if you are, I thought I pressed YouTube, but it's definitely my personal Facebook. So hey, Facebook fam, I'll try to check comments sometime in here. And you guys, those of you that pretend like you don't see my public page, welcome. This is like back when we used to do live streams almost daily back in 2020. So welcome to you.
You did daily live streams on Facebook back in 2020?
Yeah, after George Floyd died, I was live like for like 3 weeks, I think, almost daily, and then periodically after that on my personal Facebook. So, yeah, live holding space. So welcome to you. This is, if you haven't seen me since 2020, this is 4 radicalizations later. So happy to see you. If you comment, I can't see it while we're live, but I will try to pull it up and look occasionally. And the same is true with Instagram. I'll, stick around, say hey. Okay. First topic.
Speaking of radicalizations, like, why do you say that it's 4 radicalizations later? And like, what does that look like for you? Because I'm a different person. I'm barely recognizable to people who knew me 20 years ago.
For sure.
What does that look like for you?
I think I'm barely recognizable, especially to people who, maybe not especially, I shouldn't say that, because I feel like I was still pretty much pushing the envelope in like high school and stuff. I was organizing benefit concerts. I was, part of the after school clubs for politics and, all that stuff. So it's not like that far away from that. But at the same time, there are things that I talk about, like we're going to talk about No King's Day. We're going to talk about that kind of stuff today. We're going to talk about the watermelon people today. Hashtag per Poppy Wada. I literally didn't even bring anything. It's just a slide that says the watermelon people. So we're going to talk about that today. But like I think right after George Floyd, like I've had many radicalizations in my life, including Philando Castile being murdered while I lived in Duluth. Then George Floyd literally being murdered down the street. Then a couple of the other ones that have been murdered very near me. There have been progressively more and more dissatisfaction. Also, another thing you should know about me, personal Facebook people that haven't followed my public pages, she's an anti-capitalist, babies. I don't speak kindly about about capitalism. I don't speak kindly about those of you that are on the lower half of the white identity chart. I have no room really for people that are not interested in the unlearning. Like if you consider yourself to be a good white person, but you're not willing to go into that unlearning and abolition space, you probably don't know me anymore. Like, and so that's what I mean, like in terms of 4 radicalizations later. Like I feel like in terms of my relationships, in terms of becoming a mom, the murders that have happened, the president being elected, the current president, right, being quote unquote elected, Gaza has been an extreme radicalization for me, and how vocal I can be about the things that I believe. So yeah, that's what I would say.
I no longer believe in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
That's a biggie. Biggie.
Do I believe that there was a master teacher that lived in that time trying to liberate people and to set them free of mental and physical infirmity and being disturbed in the ways in which we're disturbed in our society right now? Yes. Do I believe in the tools of manipulation that would allow a person to get shamed out of a line for giving a $1,200 seed offering to a pastor instead of a $2,000 one, if you've been tracking that over on Threads? I don't believe in that kind of Jesus.
I haven't seen any of it on Threads. Also, y'all, I really don't have a bob. This piece of hair right here is like making it look like we have this like clean little ear level bob, but that's not true. Anyway, it's bothering me, and I was trying to like find my light, but anyway. Okay, so speaking of saucy things. I think I only brought one thread about this, but we can talk about what was on Dr. Poppy Watch's stories. But the No Kings um, demonstrations, we're not going to call them protests because they weren't really a protest because they didn't have a clear ask. But I will read this thread, which says, did I criticize the efficacy of No Kings as a protest and still attend the rally both times? Yes. Do I support the 92% resting as resistance and still celebrate every time I see melanin in politicized spaces? Yes. Do I understand the risks I carry as a Black woman and a teacher and still choose to speak publicly? Yes. I reject binary thinking that says I must agree entirely to participate, and I refuse to abandon discernment for the sake of artificial unity. And I feel like that thread summarizes. There's a squirrel in the pumpkin, you guys. I don't even know what to do about that. As if I'm gonna go fight this squirrel for the pumpkin. It ain't happening. But this thread
Is the squirrel taking the pumpkin away?
Well, it's eating part of the pumpkin. I just see its little tail going back and forth.
Do squirrels eat pumpkin?
They do. These squirrels do. They've been taking chunks out of Piper's pumpkin. But this particular thread, I think, summarizes what I don't, and I talked about it in my stories this morning. I just don't think anything is all or nothing. I think that the demonstrations need to happen. I think the actual protests need to happen. I think conversation needs to happen. I think online, opposition needs to happen. I think that in real life, opposition needs to happen. I think joy needs to happen. I think violence needs to happen. I think it's all necessary to get to where we're going, and I just think that I hope that everyone that went to the rally / demonstration goes and writes a letter to their congresspeople about feeding people come November 1st. I hope that they go to participate in a food kitchen. I hope that they participate in mutual aid. I hope that they find some of the accounts online to share that are, speaking real truth to power in that aspect. I hope that this isn't the only action. And I don't think it's necessarily fair to some of it is so unserious. And yet the people that are criticizing this particular group of people, which was primarily white people, let's just keep it real, right? Was primarily white people that are the people that are criticizing are marginalized people, right? Some of them are criticizing people for being unserious and showing up with their bouncy castles and their dinosaurs. And joy is the revolution, babies. Y'all show up to protest in your dinosaur suits too. So don't even with that. Don't even with that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Don't talk out both sides of your mouth. Find what you believe and go from there. Don't just criticize people because they white and because you didn't want to get off your butt. That's okay to not get off your butt and go do it. It can be somebody else's responsibility to be in the streets. It can be somebody else's responsibility to show up on a Saturday. And it might be your responsibility to show up on a Tuesday. But don't shame them for doing that. And I think that's what's happening in the online discourse about this is there's a lot of shame being slung, at everybody. And it's just sort of like that particular tactic is a tactic of massa, and get rid of it. We ain't going to win massa's game by using shame. We're just not.
You cannot use massa's tools to dismantle massa's castle.
Right.
Also, I would have loved to have been there if I thought that it was going to be effective, and asked everybody what they were standing for and who they were standing up for and what kind of world they were envisioning beyond that Saturday.
Right.
We talk a lot in the community because Tara has an album coming out soon that has a song on it called I Dream a World. And in your visionary process and in your imagining of a future coexistence with the planet and each other, what are things that are there?
Right.
I think the grocery stores should be free. No shame, you're saying.
I agree. I don't think that, I saw this thread this morning.
Well, let me complete by just simply saying that I think that like the off-brand generic lentils should be free. And then people who want the premium should pay the difference to get the premium. Like we know that like regular canned raviolis, which I can't have anymore because I'm old with hypertension and blood pressure and GERD and all kinds of things.
There's no real anything in those.
It's so good though. I mean, I would go for some like Chef Boyardee right now. But anyway, the off-brand is what? Let's call it $2 a can. I'm so out of touch. I don't know how much a can of canned ravioli costs.
I don't buy it.
We don't have to dwell on ignorance. Hold on. Canned ravioli. So the Chef Boyardee at Kroger cheese ravioli and tomato sauce is $1 a can. All right. Let's see what the off-brand you don't want to eat that. Just spend the $1. horrible example. Oh, we found something else. Pasta.
I buy the generic pasta. It's 10 for $1 when you get it on sale.
Right. I think that should be free. And if people want premium name brand, then if the name brand is $1.25 more, and you really like that, then pay the extra. But I think that the basic food should be free. Like I dream of a world where food is free. My heart is going out to people who are really on pins right now, either because they're subjected to the government shutdown as government employees. Shout out to my friend in the neighborhood who hasn't been paid in a long, long time, and she's really concerned if her landlord is going to let her stay in November, or the people who are great people, like they're nice people. They're not harming anybody. They've not committed any crimes. They just want to live. And to have their SNAP benefits taken away, I think that's really harsh and cruel. And
yep. And we'll talk about that a little bit later too, because I did bring that. But I agree that I think that protests and the joy of protesting and being together must be collective imagination beyond where we are. And I also agree that like there wasn't a clear message. Some people were out there protesting Donald Trump. And as I've said time and time again, Trump is not your biggest problem. The same way that J.K. Rowling is not y'all's biggest problem. Like Trump is not your biggest problem. You know what's the problem? Congress. Yeah, like, and so like
the people who have bought Congress.
Yes, right. The tech billionaires, the oligarchs, which some of y'all will claim that we don't have in America, but y'all been looking around.
What is Sam Altman? I mean, he has me by the throat. Mm-hmm. Sam Altman of OpenAI. If ChatGPT ever went down,
he has you by the throat.
I'd have to learn how to think again.
Yes, you would. And I think that's why people are anti Sam Altman. Because some people like to think. No, y'all, Dr. Flo does think sometimes. The majority of the day, I would say.
She's full of shit. I'm a great thinker, and if there were an easier approach, I'm one of those people. Why not take it? You know, if there is something today, instead of me sitting there for 15 minutes to 20 minutes, mouth breathing at the computer about how to negotiate a contract and to reword an email so that it made everybody happy, I just asked the machine to do it, and it did it, and that just set things forward. Tara sent me a message saying it's done. Congratulations. I would still be sitting on top of that email saying, all right, I gotta respond, find the words. Like, there's so many easier approaches to life. Why not take it? I just hope that the GPT never goes down. Although I do have a GPT privately installed on my machine, so that if it ever went down on the... Was that on your side? I thought that was like... Was that a bug
That was a
in your house?
A whole fly.
Yeah, I saw it.
I was like, what is happening? That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, but back to the techno oligarchs that run our Congress and run the world. Like, how far-reaching is
Who runs
this?
the world? Girls. Who runs the world? Text. I think we're going to Threads. I'm not sure what we're doing. I think we are. Mayhaps.
Oh, I thought you had a larger thought. You were about to continue your thought.
No, I just think that there needs to be, like protesting one man who's a symptom of a problem in the same way that J.K. Rowling is a symptom of a problem. Right? Like, it doesn't actually do what you think it's doing. But again, I do feel like these type of demonstrations at least mobilize people, right? Like, and we saw that in George Floyd when it was even more inconvenient in the uprisings for his murder. But we can't I think it's a little weird to poo-poo that millions of people got out of their house. Millions of people to stand in the street with Don Lemon for 90 minutes on one block. But yeah.
I'm not discrediting that. Like, that's amazing. Those people will also leave their house to eat the rich and burn their houses down. Like, those people are more prone to leave their house and to drag people through the streets, like what happened in was it the country that we featured a couple of weeks ago? Poppy, do you recall the country that overthrew their government and had their people in the street?
Didn't it start with an N? No. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember. But again, there's plenty of things that are going on in the world that could be
Nepal.
I was right. An N. There are plenty of things that could be protested that are kind of flying under the weather. Like yesterday, I was listening to the What a Day group podcast listen. By the way, we do group podcast listens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And she was talking about how America has been bombing Venezuelan fishing boats in the middle of the sea. Like, that's crazy. Israel broke the ceasefire, So I hope
claiming that they are carrying drugs for the cartel.
Yeah, right. When there's no proof of that at all. But I really think that for those people that these are their first demonstrations, and these are maybe their second demonstrations or their third demonstrations, or they're what I call a baby activist, where you're curious and maybe you've started calling your government, you have a very straight gray hair in your beard today. I saw it this morning on TikTok. I was like, oh my God. But for those people that this is early in your journey of unlearning and of deconstructing and of decolonizing, I hope that this is your first step and not your last one. That's all.
What's next for you? Let's head out to Threads and see what the people out on Threads are saying in the world today. First things first, let's share out with the people that were live. Oh my God, Misty Copeland changed ballet forever. Watching her take her final curtsy and be inundated with flowers was bittersweet. Debbie Allen, Oprah, and Misty's son for the finale. Tara said 1 hour ago, don't sing train, sing free. Uppity Neger says, there are two things I love. Bullying bullies, me too, girl. My friends and chosen family. A dangerous place to be is at the intersection of both. Okay? Ryan writes too, says, ooh, I'm finally ready to tell my story. I was broke and hungry, but in hindsight, I should have stayed in my black ass home. He cooked fried catfish, cauliflower, and potatoes. The potatoes were burnt so much so they resembled chips. The cauliflower was so mashed it looked like risotto. The fried fish was undercooked. The only drink offered was water. I had about 5 different people text me with emergencies so I could leave. This must be a woman telling a story about someone who invited her over for dinner and could not cook. Allie J. Love says, Sandra Bland, never forget.
Agreed.
Someone said, no way in hell this lady left her house without noticing she looked like Austin Powers.
I've never even seen Austin Powers.
And then this is my last one from this particular section. Zoran Mamdani elicited gas from the debate crowd on Wednesday after he informed opponent Andrew Cuomo that one of his sexual harassment accusers was sitting in the audience. Have you seen this yet?
I haven't seen the clip, but I've read about the clip.
What say you about Zoran Mamdani?
I mean, I think the same thing that I think about an AOC or, a progressive candidate. I think he's a progressive candidate. I think he is still very much a Democrat. And while I think we need more progressive candidates in offices that matter, he is still a cog in the machine. Right. And this kind of goes to and I've been pondering this for a long time. Right. And again, this is a binary choice of do you work? And Dr. Flo and I actually were literally just talking about this before we got on here about money. Right. Do you work inside of the system and get enough money that you don't have to care because you can just spend the money? Right? Or do you exist outside of the system and, like Dr. Flo was talking about earlier, find the free grocery stores and the free gardens and the community centers that are giving out free things, right? And I think this is sort of the choice that the Democratic Party often makes us choose is to have a candidate that can win or to have a candidate. And I don't think that that's a binary choice. And I also think that we can have multiple parties. I think that the parties really strap people into having to conform to certain things, right? And having to capitulate to certain things, which is why everybody was so shocked about MTG last week, right? Y'all don't need to be shocked. She's a human. She's got thoughts. She's got thoughts. I don't agree with most of them, but she's got thoughts. It's the same thing with Zoran, and he is trying to now sort of come back to the middle. And the only thing that Andrew Cuomo has is some Islamophobia and some racism to throw back at him. So that's my thoughts on him. I think he's a little too middle ground for me. I think he claims to be a democratic socialist. I think Bernie's more democratic socialist than Zoran is. But that's
Agreed.
That's of him. Yeah.
Oof. And we're moving forward. If I can find the right button on the screen.
Okay, so now we're back to these SNAP benefits and government shutdown. I think I have a couple slides full of threads here. Oh, I gotta make it big though. Okay. All right. So this is from Nicole Walters in response to another one. So I'm going to read the first thread first. No.more.mildred says, that doesn't make sense, but I'm going to read it. I was recently learned that you can donate money to food banks instead of canned goods so that they can buy wholesale and get their better pricing, which, like, why aren't we just giving free food to food banks? Like, what a weird society we live in. And Nicole Walters says, in the wake of SNAP benefits running out for families due to the government shutdown, please donate what you can to local food banks to help with increased need. Thank you. And another person says, SNAP benefits are about to be taken from millions. Families with children, most of whom, these have typos in them. Y'all, loved and lovable, but man, most of whom are working, they are going to starve. Starvation means crime. If you see someone stealing food, no the fuck you didn't. It's not too late to start communities to share food, babysitting, transportation, and healthcare. The resistance doesn't just need warriors, it needs caregivers too. We'll go to the next slide, which I think also has, okay. And this is related and also kind of unrelated, but I wanted to bring this here as well. When I made $50,000 a year, I didn't see a problem with money being taken out of my check to help fund programs that feed, house, and insure people. When I made $100,000 a year, I didn't see a problem paying taxes that helped fund programs that feed, house, and insure people. When I made $200,000 a year, I didn't see a problem with paying taxes that helped fund programs that feed, house, or insure people. When I made $300,000 a year, I didn't see a problem with paying taxes if it helped fund programs that feed, house, and insure people. At what number do I suddenly trade in my humanity and compassion for others? At what point do I suddenly decide that as a member of my community, I don't have a responsibility to do what I can to contribute to its success? I have heard people villainize these programs my entire life, including when I myself had to use them, and still cannot comprehend why one would not want people to have access to necessary resources. That's exactly what Flo was talking about earlier. Yeah. Thoughts?
It's very bizarre that people can make $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 and think that they're somehow then disconnected from the whole.
Nope.
When you think about people with money who don't have to worry about eating, creating harmful conditions for people who want to eat in order, like, first of all, how do they think people who are not eating going to benefit them under capitalism? Like, unfed people are a horrible labor force.
Yeah, but that's under the premise that you want people to live.
You think they're intentionally trying to unalive people?
I think that this has been a 400-year genocide.
That's going to be a clip worth getting.
Like, y'all, I'm being so, like, I'm sorry to laugh about it, but if we don't laugh, we're gonna cry. So
that's
like,
true. Oh my god.
I just
okay.
I don't like the premise that the wealthy classes, and I'm talking like massive amounts of wealth, right? Because there is a massive difference between a millionaire and a billionaire, right? And the billionaires, to be clear, and I was watching some video the other day, and there was like, they made up a whole new word for people like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, which is centibillionaire, right? People that have $100 billion or more. And that's wild to me, right? That it's like there is such a massive difference between that. And I think if you scroll way back, we talked at one point, we watched a video on like grains of rice representing um $1 million, and then the piles, like it was crazy, crazy for being so lonely. I'm crazy. Okay. Um, so anyway, I don't believe that those very wealthy, I think those very wealthy people are often trying to craft a world that is only safe for them. And so therefore, in order to be completely safe, you need to then eliminate the rest of the people, right? I mean, this is what like all the alien movies are built on, right? The reason that like what is that movie called? War of the Worlds, right? The reason that people write these is because, and have like the premise that the aliens are coming to destroy all of us, right? I, Robot, I Am Legend. What's some other alien movies? The Passengers, um Men in Black, even, y'all, like, which I saw was on last night, and I think that's a giggly movie, and it's funny until it's not funny, right? Because this is the belief that like the two groups cannot coexist. And the thing that I think we often rely on is that these people that have amassed billions and centibillions have humanity for the people at the bottom. And I just don't think that's true. I just don't think that's true. And so I think when we're talking about this and we're like, why don't they care? Why would they care when actually they don't need our labor? Right? And this is where I get to with like, you know, people calling for general strikes and people saying like hit them where it hurts in their pocketbooks. They're not going to feel you. They're not going to feel you. They have $100+ billion. They will not feel us, even if 20 million of us boycotted. They won't feel that. They've amassed so much wealth and traded in so much humanity that they do not care if we live or die. Right? And I think that they're really trying to craft a world that it is impossible to live in. I saw another thread today and I reposted it to my stories, but you know, the cycle of poverty and crime, right? Essentially make grocery stores unaffordable, so then there's more crime, right? Like we talked about in that second thread. Then you add more police into the area, right? To control the crime. And then what inevitably happens? Police violence. And this becomes the way of the world in this way. And I think, again, I think all of this is a backlash for, quite frankly, like I said, it's been a 400-year genocide. I think this is a backlash for the prison system not doing what they hoped it would. I think this is a backlash for the civil rights movement having success. I think this is all a giant white lash against Black and brown people having some modicum of freedom in the world.
Because somebody decided, and I lost the microphone mid rebuttal, not rebuttal, but add in. Someone's looking at a chart and they're seeing that the prison numbers are low.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we get the money to flow into the prison systems? By making the food inaccessible and knowing that people are going to either have to work harder to get it or they're going to be imprisoned for stealing a loaf of bread, a la Jean Valjean.
Just for stealing a mouthful of bread. We got clipped last week for Valjean, y'all. One day more, another day. Also, hello to Loretta and my mother. I think my mommy is watching. Someone's watching on Facebook. Hello. Hello. Anyway.
Don't get caught out here at the grocery stores without your debit cards, folks.
And if you see people stealing, maybe if you are in a place, maybe just pay it forward. Maybe pay for those groceries. Maybe donate to a food kitchen if you are in the the privileged space to do so. I think that's and host cookouts if you are able to do so. Have people bring different things. We shouldn't all have to suffer, right? And we shouldn't assign a certain group of people to suffer simply because we're too proud to do the work.
It's weird that people privately and publicly think that there are humans who feel. We talked about this tons of times on this show. Everybody has hunger pangs that feel the same. Everyone has suffering that feels the same. It's wild to me that there are humans who privately, in and of themselves, without letting anyone know, covertly or overtly, want others to suffer. I think that's weird. Same thing with Gaza. The fact that so many people have been tight-lipped about it and just didn't say anything while all this was going down is weird.
Weird.
And I think it goes beyond a lack of empathy. I think it's evil to not say anything and to not speak up for humans.
Right.
Everyone should be a humanitarian. We don't shit on each other here in the network. As I plug in my...
Whatever happens to another human could happen to you. Like, how weird. I also have seen some people talking about the fat phobia that is coming along with this. I saw a thread this morning that was like, literally, like, do people, I think I literally quoted it because I was like, do people literally believe this? Let me see.
Talking about the one where they think that fat people live off of their reserves.
Yeah, like fat stores or something. Like, what? Yeah, it says hot take. Overweight people still need to eat every day. Extra body mass doesn't mean that you're self-sustaining. Be so for real already. Shake my head. Are you? If you're out there and you are on my Instagram or my Facebook, I need you to leave. Like, if you're that person, what are you doing? Oh my God. Like,
where we could ask a human, regardless of their size, are you hungry?
Right. Like, what?
Strange. I don't care what you look like or how many pounds you have on you. Would you like something to eat? It's just weird.
It's very
I feel like I'm living in the upside down, honestly.
And you've never even seen Stranger Things.
I've not seen Stranger Things. We're going to our I've seen a couple episodes, but it didn't at me. Someone says tend to your garden. Tickle Me Valor, a friend of the network, says happy Thursday to you.
Hello.
Professor Shinki said burn me a CD or you can forget it. Like I said, wow. Speaking to the sharing of music like we used to do back in the day to say I love you.
Yes.
I'm Nick B says live in your purpose and lead with love. Hippie Potter says curiosity is a skill. Use it to your benefit. And breaking. New York Attorney General Letitia James just launched a public portal where residents can upload photos and videos of ICE operations for investigation. She is not playing around. She's not. I actually like her a lot.
She said, you come for me. Watch what I do. Yeah, she's fabulous.
This is what we need to see. We need to see community-led and attorney-led resistance.
Yep.
And you're right. If they're going to be snatching people off the streets in mass, then we should have a place to document it, upload it, and seek justice.
Agreed.
Your diagnosed sense says erotic generosity without self-betrayal is the sweet spot. If you can't find it, slow down. Erotic generosity without self-betrayal is the sweet spot. If you can't find it, slow down.
Slow down.
There's so much in there. There's so much of the sacral that's in there, and also so much that's in the crown.
Mm-hmm.
If what you're giving to another person, time, talent, and treasure, is causing you to step outside of your own personal power, it may be an opportunity for you to step back. Some people give expecting things in return that are never going to come from the people that they are giving it to. I had to learn that the hard way.
Yes.
Speaking of absurd in the world,
you could. I put this in the deck because Poppy Wada has been on it, and it was talked about in Daily Peer Support this morning. But Dr. Flo mentioned it last week, which is it's from the Young Republicans chat, apparently. Which somebody called them.
Is my mic still live over there? Okay, I'm just gonna set this up. Watermelon people is a derogatory and racist term used to dehumanize black people, stemming from a racist stereotype that portrays them as simple-minded and lazy. This trope originated as a backlash against the economic self-sufficiency of newly freed African Americans who grew and sold watermelons. Didn't know that until today. So, because we were growing and selling our own watermelons and stepping into business ownership and entrepreneurship, this was perpetuated as a negative thing through racist minstrel shows and propaganda like postcards that depicted black people as inordinately fond of the fruit. The term has recently reappeared in hateful contexts, such as the leaked chat by some members of the Young Republicans, as noted in Al Jazeera and The Guardian. Historical roots. Following emancipation, many Southern African Americans became successful watermelon farmers and vendors, a symbol of their newfound freedom and self-sufficiency. The stereotype development is that to counter this, racists created negative stereotypes to shame black watermelon merchants and downplay their success. This led to the creation of racist.
We lost your microphone again. You sound very far away underwater.
Check 1, 2.
Keep going.
1, 2, 1, 2.
No, you still sound water. No, we ain't got nothing. We can't hear nothing. Nothing.
Like 0% oh my god.
There's nothing.
There's like nothing. Like it's oh, there you go. Is that better? That should be much better.
That's better. Y'all just have to forgive the words.
I'm not going to call her name because apparently I said something in the explanation of this that triggered the lady who listens to us on our Mac devices, and that's what threw out my sound. So I was talking about the stereotype development. To counter this, racists created negative stereotypes to shame black watermelon merchants and downplay their success. This led to the creation of racist imagery and propaganda that depicted black people as simple-minded and lazy, who only needed a watermelon for happiness. The racist tropes are that the stereotype was widely spread through minstrel shows, postcards, and other media that portrayed black people in a demeaning manner, showing them stealing, fighting over, and messily eating watermelons. In modern use, the term has seen a resurgence in the recent racist context being used alongside other dehumanizing slurs from that Young Republican chat. And also, while I'm here talking about this today, let me also pull up there are a bunch of people who have lost their jobs as a result of this. Multiple individuals associated with Young Republicans chapters have lost their jobs due to the leak of racist, anti-Semitic, and homophobic messages from a private group chat in October 2025. The scandal led to resignations, firings, and the disbanding of at least one chapter. Prominent figures who have lost their jobs or been disciplined included Peter Gionta, fired from his position as chief of staff for the New York State Assemblyman Mark Riley, Joe Maligno, Maligno, Maligno. He lost his job as an employee of the New York State Unified Court System. Bobby Walker had a job offer with a New York congressional campaign rescinded. He also was the chair of the now defunct New York State Young Republicans. Will Hendricks, fired from his job as a staffer for Kansas Attorney General Chris Kobach. Hendricks was the leader of the Kansas Young Republicans, and the state chapter was shut down following the revelations. And Sam Douglas, the Vermont state senator, resigned after being involved in the chat. The leaked Telegram messages, which totaled nearly 300 pages, included discussions about putting political opponents in gas chambers, racist slurs, and praise for Yahtzees. The subsequent public outcry led to swift condemnation from Republican and Democratic leaders alike. So be very careful out here. I mean, probably don't do that shit at all, but definitely be mindful of what you're saying. We have some Telegram spaces that we used to use. I'm still active on the platform for some underground news and whatnot. Do you still check your Telegram at all?
Yes. Well, once a week. And then somebody that I know is doing their podcast in a broadcast channel over there. So
very nice. I'm not gonna take our team through it, but you know how I feel about it.
I know how you feel about it. I will still choose WhatsApp, even though I don't get my stickers.
You don't get the stickers, and it's just a good backbone service to have. But we don't need it. I do have Resistance News Network, Resistance News Network prisoners. There's a bunch of Israel is a war criminal. There's a bunch of updates that are coming out of Telegram, and I may revive one of our broadcast channels eventually just to keep it fresh once a week, but we don't need it.
Yeah.
You know, those who rock with us are happy in the simplicity of life, and because love is simple, why not? The only person who loves all of the bells and whistles and things is Flo.
It's true.
All right, let's head back to Threads and see what else is happening over here. I'm going to hit the casino button top left and see what it's... Bougie Faith says, stop trying to take shortcuts with your wellness and healing. Yelitza Jeans Charles says, my mind is incredibly valuable and I will act accordingly. TMZ says Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo are finally burying the hatchet because the current mayor of New York's set to endorse his former political adversary in the campaign for the mayor's office. So this evil motherfucker, Eric Adams, is about to endorse Cuomo, even though they hate each other, because they don't want Mamdani to win.
Weird.
Here's a hamster eating grapes.
I like hamsters. I do.
Last one. People who are unwilling to sit with the density of their darkness are the same ones overwhelmed by the bigness of their light.
You better read that one more time, because that's also deep.
People who are unwilling to sit with the density of their darkness are the same ones overwhelmed by the bigness of their light.
No crumbs.
Good googly moogly.
Good googly moogly. Yeah, that one's wow.
Oh wow! And just like that, that was our show. We are calling for ceasefire now, and the hearts, mind, bodies, and spirits of everybody in our lives, especially ourselves. Um, why all the internal fighting and external fighting in the world? Y'all know that one of my biggest pet peeves is preventable bullshit. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot of it on the planet. Tara left me something here to make bigger today.
Yes, in the topic of ceasefire now, what's been going on in Congo is fucking horrific. Mass rapes of women and children, burning people alive, starvation, hanging people from trees, chemical burns, and health problems because of being forced to source cobalt for barely any money, which Apple and Google and Elon get richer off their labor. This is colonial violence, and the entire world turns a blind eye. So,
Poppy Water in our community has been mentioning the DRC. He's been mentioning it. Sometimes progressive verbs give me a hard time, y'all. The ing just gets me stuck. But he has been making mention of this for weeks and months now, about how these people are being mass raped. The women and children, it's happening to them, and they're burning people alive, all kinds of other horrible conditions. Love and Action Network is not going to sit by and not say anything. Once again, the fact that so many of you just go on and living your life and not speaking up for free for people on the other side of the planet who need our advocacy, it's wild. Like, we lose nothing in our personal businesses and in our families and in our environments in Minnesota and Georgia by speaking up.
Georgia. Yeah. And just to like put this in perspective, y'all, a little bit even further. I just did a quick because I was like, is it the DRC or is it like the Congo? Because those are two different countries. For those of you that don't know, they are very much two different countries. So I just did a quick search, and a staggering 23.4 million Congolese suffer from food insecurity, making the DRC the country most affected by food insecurity in the world.
Meanwhile, like you just said, they're sourcing the materials that make our phones possible. It's us literally standing on their necks.
Right.
Every text we send, every email we source, every business deal we close, everything that we do professionally is standing on the shoulders and the necks of these people.
Right.
Yeah, it's time for me to pee and take a walk.
Good thing we're almost done.
Yeah. But you know who has it worse than me and my flubs?
The people in Congo.
The people in Congo.
And the people in Gaza. And the people.
And it seems so trite to just say like peace and love to them, or we're sending you healing vibes across the pond. Like, they need so much more from us collectively. And going back to the first slide of today, or one of the earlier slides, I'm sure that there wasn't any mass mentioning of the DRC at the No Kings parades.
Right. There also was a report that the leaders of No Kings banned Palestinian flags. There was also a report of someone getting kicked out of the protest for wearing Palestinian gear. So, do with that information what you will about the organizers of No Kings, and mayhaps, like the thread said, we're not going to agree with everything that a group may say, but if you're not standing up against the oppression of at least some groups, you're probably not standing up against the oppression of any groups. And that's kind of sad.
And if you're out there and you have friends who are aliens and they've got a spare seat in their rocket ship, let them know that I cook and I clean
I'll just
and I
call Dennis Rodman
vacuum.
for you. I'll just call him right up. Y'all know he's an alien, right? According to Men in Black. Y'all know that, right?
Happy to do servitude for a lift off of this planet where people act backwards when they don't have to.
They do.
Tara's forthcoming New York Times bestselling book is all about choices.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that these are the choices we make on the planet when we don't have to. Like someone would grow the food because it brings them joy to grow the food. When I used to live in Brooklyn, the neighborhood community garden was food grown by people who were passionate about seeing the food come out of the ground and feeding their neighbors. People will do it for free, and the earth gives to us for free. The fact that we put it all behind barcodes is a human convention.
But also, can we talk about how Aldi has cornered the market on? Am I like frozen? Is that like?
Very.
I can't even get my camera back on.
They don't like us talking about freedom.
They really don't.
They
It
really
shows that my
don't.
camera's on, but I think y'all can still hear me, so I'll just keep going. Um, Hi, I'm back. Oh my god, hi.
They really don't like it when we
I don't
talk
even
about
remember what I
freedom.
was gonna say. Oh, the
Aldi,
Aldi. Okay, Aldi is the only place that gives you the scanner part to be the big. It's like the whole bag. Thank you, Aldi, because all you other people, you make your little tags like teeny tiny, and then you try to scan it at checkout, and it's like,
you talking about the UPCs,
I'm talking about trying to check out, and you're not being able to get the
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 barcodes.
barcode to scan. Yeah, yeah. And on the bags at Aldi, like bags of chips and stuff, it's the whole bag. It's great.
Oh, I've never noticed that before. It's very large here on this can of pop, but I never noticed.
Is that an Olipop?
This is a poppy.
Oh,
It's a 5-gram sugar cherry limeade prebiotic soda from
it'll
Aldi.
make you poop.
We love Aldi around here. Yeah, a good loose stool is good for my old ass. All right, folks, we had fun today. I hope that y'all had fun. Our programs that we're currently championing in the network
Ooh.
are Adopt a Black Artist, daily peer support programs, admin and support services through Love City Arts Creative Services Group. Welcome to our new clients. We're so happy to have you on board. I'm also working on Dr. Flo and the Love Experience with great joy, and there are neighborhood singers, songwriters, and musicians that we're calling in. It's been fun. Shout out to Monty. Uh, Also hiring within Love and Action Network if you want to be part of something bigger than yourself. As we unite the talents of diverse artists and celebrate the power of love through music, theater, and art, please tap in and drop us an application through the intake form on lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link. What's coming up for you, Praolo?
Y'all, tomorrow is a replay of the Colorful Voice Masterclass. That's always a very popular masterclass that I teach. I've taught it a couple different times, and I've taught it a few times privately. But I think I taught it a little different this time. So, hope that y'all will enjoy that. That'll be on my Substack as well as my YouTubies. And then I also have free alignment checks and resets tomorrow for Freedom Fridays for free 99. You can talk to me about anything. You just got to book the appointment. All right. And then also the Blackening the Canon group chat that I've talked about for a long time has been renamed to the TPS Community Commons to also include our liberation conversations. There is a vocal group where right now we're sending like technique videos. This morning I threw a Jesse Norman video in there, and I'm totally interested to hear thoughts about that. And hopefully that'll become, what it says, a community commons space. So if you'd like to join that, you can just go to tarapriolo.com/links, or you can get there through lovedandlovable.bio.linkypoops.
It's just link, y'all. Hold the poop. Unless you're drinking a prebiotic soda.
Linky poops. It would, listen, we would all be happier if every link that we typed in was linky poops.
It could make the world a brighter place.
Evolution. In college, I used to have a professor. His name is Brooke Joyce. And I'll never forget, he was a theory professor. And he would always, when we had tests, he'd always call it a testy poop. He's like, "Are you ready for your testy poop?"
Clearly was a PWI, like the one I went to. What are your takeaways from today? We talked, if we go back through the slide deck, y'all, and I'm able to do that. Today, we introduced ourselves. We talked about No Kings demonstrations. We talked about threads, what's happening out. We talked about SNAP benefits and government shutdowns. We talked about the watermelon people. We talked about ceasefire. Like,
I think for me, it just comes down to like, and I've talked about this several times in peer support, and I'm pretty sure on this podcast and all these places, but for me, it's about the deconstructing of the binaries and just actually helping people. Like, I think it's very weird that we have this world set up where we don't help each other, right? We hear somebody sorrow and we're like a lot of people would be like, "Oh, that's nice," or "Oh, sorry to hear that," and that's the end of it. Whereas like Love and Action Network, we try to at least like give you a resource or suggest a person who could help you or something, or maybe one of us can help you. Like, I just think I think it's very weird that we don't step up to help people. Even like, and it doesn't have to be financial, and maybe that's what people are thinking, but that for me is what the base of this pod has been, is just that we need to help people in whatever capacity we can. Right?
I've been saying for weeks that I want to get bolder in my service. And today's pod really made me acutely aware that bold service is the way to go. And we will continue in the network to get really strategic and curious about how to make that possible. While you were just sharing, I put into my notes Love and Action Network referral services. Because you're right, Poppy Water this morning was talking in peer support about some ideas that he has and how he wants to get them copyrighted and trademarked and patented so that they don't go off into the bushes. And we immediately gathered around resources and just sent them to him, because everybody's dream is worthy and everyone's worthy of having their dream come true. And so we will continue to map these things. You can also go to our website and see our national map of soul service members throughout the country. There are 3 of us right now, but there are more coming. And we're very interested in connecting the dots for a bright, joyous, and secure future. Thanks for watching, everybody. I took him off of the scroller in this particular iteration of the project, but I'm still thinking about Charles McNair. One of his city mates came into the TikTok yesterday being a phony baloney, and Wanda Cox is over there printing paper off of her inkjet and taking pictures of it to try to get this man out of prison. We all deserve more. We really do. So I'm going to lift Charles McNair's name today. He has been in prison for decades in North Carolina, moved all over the state, works for pennies a day, and no one can find a single copy of the police report that keeps him in prison in North Carolina. So I'm thinking about you today, Charles. And I hope that people will continue to lift your cause without being weirdos. Anyway, thank y'all for watching and holding space for love daily within our network. On behalf of Terra Olo Studio, this is actually the ending now. On behalf of Terra Olo Studio, Bobby Water 33, as one of our master producers here, and myself, Ask Dr. Flo, on all platforms, I invite you, as always, to stay in your power, to stay in your joy, to stay loved and lovable. And we'll see you very, very soon around our fantastic network. Thank you for watching today over on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch, and beyond, and also catching the replay over on YouTube, Substack, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.